There's something visceral about like coming in and touching it and seeing it, and you can sit there on a computer all day and click through stuff, and it has no personality. It's just kind of blank.
Talking Heads.
I come to Sidetracks for the vinyl records. I've been collecting them since I was 10 years old. I have about 9,000 in my collection. There's a room in my house that's dedicated to them, and it really puts me in touch with my younger self.
Charlottesville has changed quite a bit in the past 2 decades. We have new residents, new businesses, new roads. Yet there is a special place in our community that remains the same. Same small town customer service and same access to great timeless music that does not involve downloading. Join us today as we visit with Cal Glatfelder Jr. of Sidetracks Music. Come on. So Cal, what inspired you to take over this music store in 2003?
I was in a position where I wanted to work for myself, and this opportunity came along, and I snagged it.
Yeah, because you said you always have a song in your head.
Yeah, it's always in the background. There's some kind of tune going on.
So this would be a good gig for you, would it not?
Yes.
Yeah. So what do people find when they come into Sidetracks?
See anything from new releases that have come out, like today. There's a whole lot of new releases, new music.
Every Friday.
Great music is coming out all the time, and old stuff that's really hard to find. Music from the blues in the early 1920s, right, and then up to today.
And what's this?
This would be a turntable, plays records or albums.
Vinyl.
Or vinyl.
So do you have customers who come in who really don't know turntables?
Yes, and it's surprising how many do not, but it's becoming more and more well known. But there's some young people who've never seen one, and their parents want to show them how it works.
Yeah, I like it. The parents want to show them. So, okay, so you have DVDs, you have CDs, you have vinyl, and you sell old and new. Is that what it takes to make this business really succeed?
Right, in between new CDs or sealed records and CDs and used that people bring in to us that we buy from them and resell. We sift through and kind of filter out the stuff that we don't think is going to sell or nobody's going to want and save the rest. So we get the cream of the crop in here.
And people just bring in their used albums, their used CDs?
Right, a lot of times either they're moving or it's been sitting in storage for 10 years and they don't listen to them, but other people will, so they're glad to put it back out in the community.
And then if people can't find it when they're in here, you specialize in special orders. I mean, that's a big deal here, isn't it?
Yes, we do a lot of special orders for folks.
So give me examples.
CDs and records, which are back here. And let's see, an example is this one guy, he wants a Grateful Dead record no matter what. Comes in, call him up. So I called up, and he didn't have it. And then so we have it on hold for him.
So people come in, they just ask you to get it, you find it.
Right, well, we try as hard as we can.
I was looking for a Dire Straits CD that I had been looking for a really long time, and it's one that was issued only in Germany, and I happened to find it here. So I was really happy with that. So yeah, that was an aha moment.
The music community here is really cool, and I think it is really special how we do have stores where you can come and buy music. We have a radio station that's really welcoming and really involves the community. We have small venues that bring in really interesting and cool acts, and I think Charlottesville is sort of this hidden gem of music.
I come here pretty much almost every Friday, new releases, and I think it's important to support local music in any way possible, local music stores, because it's harder to find them. This is one of the last ones left.
Who are your customers? Who comes in here?
There's people who come in looking for, in their 70s or 80s, looking for Glenn Miller or something, really meant something to them when they were young. And a lot of people who get things on the internet will buy a record from their favorite artists, so they'll order that when it comes out.
And musicians.
Yeah, we get a lot of musicians. I've noticed that. Yeah, they come in and they like seeing a physical copy of things.
Yeah, so talk about that. Why is it that, that you can do this, you can succeed having a record store when so many of them have not succeeded, you know, here in Charlottesville. Why does that work?
It works. Yeah, this is kind of a small community for that to be able to work. There's a lot of music lovers in town, and that's the main thing. And we're small. You know, I'm the full-time person, and then I have a lot of helpers. But some of the other companies got too large, and they couldn't keep it up.
So, inventory-wise, how many items would you say you have in the store?
I'm going to give you a round number, about 10,000. That's about right.
Oof.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you even have more in storage that you're not even counting,
yes,
right?
I do. Yeah.
So as I'm looking around, I used to come to this store in the early 90s when it was originally called Spencer's 206, and it was on Market Street.
Right.
But as I look around, there are so many things in here that are exactly the same. So
Right.
talk about some of the things that are exactly the same.
Right. This is a unique piece that is displays our new releases, and mainly for CDs, but also records fit on there.
And it was made for the store, right?
Made for the store, yes. Just for the store, right. And this counter was done by Steve Keen,
Right,
local
and
artist.
Steve Key's artwork is all
which,
over.
yeah, I try to keep
Yeah.
quite a bit of.
The other thing I love too is your inventory system. Your notepad inventory system is still the same. So you keep track manually of everything
Right.
on a notepad.
Yes,
The only difference is yours is white and Spencer's was yellow.
yes, that was a big change.
So talk about, you know, competing in the digital age, because you're not really digital much at all.
Yeah, we're low tech, but I mean, I do look things up on the internet, of course, all the time. Just try to keep up with what's coming out or what people are looking for. But yeah, we keep it low tech.
I come here because my whole life is music. I just love to ingest everything I can, and you know, one artist will lead to another, and then you come find the used stuff, and it just explodes from there.
Entertainment is all about pleasing the senses. There's certainly a new vinyl smell that if you open up one of those new vinyls and open it up, there's a smell unique to that. So there's something romantic in the experience.
It sort of builds relationships. It gets people talking about music in a really unique way. It's tangible, so you can trade vinyl. You really get to know a cover. You really get to know an artist. And I think there's a cool aspect of the vinyl collection that I'm interested in.
I love vinyl music. It's the way it was meant to be heard. Your ears are analog, they're not digital. And for me, it's the only way to listen to music. I'm excited about it because there's more new stuff coming out. The downside is some of the younger people really like it too, so that drives the prices way up for guys like me.
You also have really cool events here. You have the Record Store Day. Tell us about that.
That's the big one. Yeah, that's our busiest day of the year. That was started 8 years ago by somebody with a great idea of keeping independent record stores, which were vanishing fairly quickly, keeping them alive, and that has made a big difference. People hearing about us and coming in. So we celebrate with 4 or 5 bands in the afternoon.
That's great.
And we do other shows.
Yeah, you've had many different acts
Yeah,
through the
many.
years. Sons of Bill have played here. Buzzard Hollow Boys love to play here.
Yes, they've been here 4 or 5 times. Yeah.
A lot
They're
of
great.
different
Yeah.
artists. And then every Friday is New Release Day. Tell us about that.
Yes, new music that's coming out comes out on Fridays, and CD and vinyl both. And there's hundreds of options. You'd be amazed how many things come out. But we whittle it down to 20 or 10 per week. Sometimes this is a fairly decent week. For example, Paul Simon has a new album out. Steve Gunn, who's coming to play here, has a new album out. And many others, Michael Franti, and the Hardworking Americans, who are really good and have played here before.
Well, and that reminds me too, you really try to support local and national touring artists. Talk about how you do that.
Yeah, we, especially with the customers, we talk about, these people are coming to town. I put a little sticker on there just saying that they're coming to town. Or we talk about concerts coming up, and I like to go to a lot of them myself because I really enjoy it. So we try to promote the releases of the artists that are coming to play here.
Yeah, I mean, I always come right to the tree to see who's new, whether it's local or national.
Right.
And the bulletin board outside always tells me who's coming to town too.
That's right. And there's some customers who only look at used, so they'll go right over to the
Right.
new releases that are.
Right, right. So, and you have so many different types of music. Talk about all the different types of music.
Of course, we've got plenty of rock and roll here, big section of jazz. We have a lot of jazz fans, and a lot of Americana that people
Yeah, I
really like that in
know.
town. Yeah.
And classical, you have people
Classics.
who come here to get all their
Yes, there's a lot of people
classical
like classical only, and then you have world music, and then we do a lot of R&B and soul,
So what's your favorite music?
rock and roll. I grew up with rock and roll, and it really hit me when I was like 10 or something like that. I just loved what was coming out. Though I've learned a lot about a whole lot of other music.
Yeah, I bet.
And it's been great. Yeah.
And what's your favorite album? Do you have a favorite album?
I don't have one single favorite album. What pops in mind is Jimi Hendrix, Electric Ladyland. I love that album. It's just so incredibly creative. And the Beatles' White Album.
What is your favorite part about this job? About being here every day and the people you meet?
Besides what I learn about music all the time, the customers that come in, I like getting them in touch with their music and listening to what they have to say about it. A lot of times I think we're like a bar, but there's no alcohol being served because they can just sit there and talk to the bartender, me, and just tell them all sorts of stuff about how they love music and the music they dislike, and it can go on and on.
Sidetracked Music is, for me, one of my favorite places to buy music. It's got a collection that is eclectic. It's always something fresh. I really like coming here. Cal's a great guy to deal with, and this is just like a second home. So.
Good music is timeless. What was good back in the 1950s, 1960s, it's still good music now, and people are still going to enjoy it. Music that's coming out right now, and that's good, people in their 70s and 80s are still going to enjoy it.